Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hi everyone. So this evening kita akan buat sedikit wrap up for our class for this particular semester. So we are almost kata apa at the end of the session lah. Okay, this term pun dah nak habis semester 2 2021-2022. So today we are going to have a look on the few things yang kita akan wrap up for your sebelum your final exam. Sorry, test 2 dulu kan, test 2. And then your final exam on the berapa bulan? 8 bulan 7 Am I right? Semua orang confused dah. Dah print slip peperiksaan belum?
Tak print lagi, baru download.
Baru download dah print. Belum print. Okay, tak apa. Yang penting you all tahu. Okay, yang mana yang dah angkat tangan tu rupanya mungkin dah ni lah. Okay. Dah print dan dah tampal di merata-rata di dalam bilik anda. Okay. So untuk wrap up the session. So firstly we are I'm going to share with you ada beberapa lah few things that we need to know ataupun you guys kena aware and alert, okay, for this particular subject for immunology. We are talking about the defense or fortress of the system. So therefore we need an army. So di dalam badan kita, these are the army yang menjaga ataupun to make sure that kita punya body dalam keadaan yang baik supaya diorang dapat fight on behalf of our body to get rid any intruders, especially the antigens. So we have the regulatory T cells. Okay, I'm now let in. Then we have the B cells, and also not forgotten kita the CD8 macrophages, and also we have the dendritic cells dan juga CD4 T cell, okay, ataupun helper T cell. So ada dua CD4 T cell or helper T cell dan juga CD8 T cell ataupun known as a cytotoxic cell. So tujuan mereka adalah untuk berada to make sure that badan kita or the system works well. Jadinya ada few from this particular warrior that known as the APC. Okay, antigen presenting cells yang akan present the pathogens on the surface of their cells in order to make sure that the CD4 dan juga other T helper cells being activated sebelum diorang dapat activate ataupun acting kepada mana-mana pathogens. Right, again, this is our immune system. We have the lymphatic system which divided into lymphatic vessels. Kita ada tissues dan juga organs that involved. Where the lymphatic vessels selalunya akan drain interstitial fluid ataupun lymph from peripheral tissue into kita punya blood ataupun di kita punya circulatory system. Okay, that's how very important kita punya lymphatic vessel. Dan and also not forgotten kita punya tissue dan juga organs which contains the lymphocytes, the B and T cells dan juga other white blood cells. So itulah tisu-tisu dan juga organ dalam badan kita mengandungi this particular fortress ataupun kita punya warrior-warrior yang terlibat. And then the organs including the primary lymphoid organs which falls into two or divided into two, iaitu the thymus dan juga bone marrow. Whilst for the secondary lymphoid organs, antaranya adalah spleen. Okay, we have the adenoid tonsils, lymph nodes, lymphatic vessels dan juga mucosa associated lymphoid tissue ataupun MALT, right? Which included dia punya GALT, gut associated lymphoid tissue, bronchus associated lymphoid tissue, BALT, skin associated dan juga nasal associated. So this is all the things yang kita perlu tahu dan alert. Dan okay, this is where it begins. Okay, dia punya journey for B and T cell bermula dari kita punya femur. Lepas tu di dalam inilah ada bone marrow. Siapa suka makan susum tulang? Sup susum tulang dulu kan? Apa yang gearbox tu? So itu adalah dia punya bone marrow. So di tempat di mana the development of the cell ataupun sel-sel darah yang berlaku di dalam kita punya femur ataupun tulang-tulang. So as you can see that dari bagaimana from the stem cell, okay, so then which later there will be developed into the B cell precursor that will travel down, which kita punya virgin or naive B cells, the production adalah sebanyak 5 times 10 power of 6 per day. Bayangkan ada berapa ribu sel ataupun puluh ribu, ratus ribu sel per day, just solely to make sure that this one akan menjadi kita punya fortress for any invasion. And whilst for others ataupun the T cells, dia akan travel down kepada thymus, which later it will be matured in the thymus gland. So dekat kita punya kat bawah tengkuk ni ada thymus gland. So bentuk dia adalah lebih kurang macam ni. Macam sort of macam lama-lama sikit lah. Very small. Okay. And then from here kita ada is either an antigen independent phases, maturation berlaku independent tanpa ada apa-apa precursor or even antigen. So this particular B cells akan mature. Okay. Whilst another one, manakala if this one kalau dia on the B cells punya surfaces ada IG dan juga IgM, without stimulating from the antigen, it's what we call antigen independent phase, which later dia akan go to the spleen ataupun our secondary lymphoid organ, which later the B cells akan mature. Whilst for the antigen dependent phases, di mana mereka ataupun this particular B cells memerlukan the presence of any types of antigen or pathogens in order to make sure that they can be activated dan juga differentiated, right? So which later the differentiation ataupun the activation dan differentiation for the B cells yang antigen dependent phases akan berlaku dalam peripheral lymphoid organ, iaitu which either lymphoid nodes, spleen, tonsil ataupun mucosa associated lymphoid tissue in which immune responses are induced. So kita punya immune response akan be increase ataupun be induced. So inilah yang berlaku di dalam peripheral lymphoid organ, which we can see that from the naive B cells. So which this is the kehadiran ataupun dependent antigen. Antigen dependent, while this one minus AG adalah antigen independent, tanpa kehadiran antigen. So 90% of the naive B cells tu akan menyebabkan kematian sebab dia tidak ada antigen yang boleh menyebabkan atau menyebabkan dia becoming an activated B cell. So as you can see that dengan adanya or with the presence of the antigens, okay, so nearly about 10% akan be activated by the presence of the antigens. So they need about 10% of the B cells, naive B cells ni bergantung ataupun melalui fasa dependent phases. Antigen dependent phases. So another 10%, okay, for example, like just now, the production is about 5 times power of 6 per day, right? So kalau 10% yang hanya yang hadir, or they become activated, you can manage to see that berapa banyak saja yang perlu bertugas ataupun they are going to be activated untuk fight for your body system, right? But still, we need them and they are here ataupun dia berada di dalam in our immune system in order to fight, even though in a very small number, iaitu 10% sahaja dari the production of one whole day, iaitu 5 times power of 6 per day. Okay. Berapa ratus? 500,000 kan? Lebih kurang. Is it? Sampai tak 500,000 ke 5 juta? Kira, congak. Okay. Then, bila our B cell been activated by the presence of the antigen, so therefore, dia, this particular B cell akan berlakunya the maturity dan juga the switching. Di mana it's either it can be the maturity become the memory B cells ataupun ada yang akan menjadi plasma cell, which later they will produce the antibody. So therefore, they will produce antibody ataupun secrete the antibody dan menyebabkan that particular the B cells akan be activated. Okay, this is how the process happen and this is what is going on dalam badan kita. We have the spleen, we have the bone marrow yang produced from the stem cells. Okay, and I'm sure that you guys are very familiar with the stem cell, right? So ada yang saying that if the families had problem with any genetics deficiencies, normally they will get through or get some bone marrow from the babies ataupun amongst dia punya family to be donated to the brothers or sisters or yang amongst the bigger among siblings. Okay, and then this is how it looks like. So the B cell and T cell will be produced in the bone marrow, but the T cell will be mature in the thymus. So then towards the end, they will be circulated in the blood. Okay, kita ada MELT, mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, kita ada SALT dan juga BALT. Okay. Right. So far so good. Semua senyap. Kenapa Alif? Semua senyap ni. Tiba-tiba. Right. Okay. For this one, as you can see that. Okay. Bagaimana? Antigen. So we have the B cell. Okay. This is MSC class 2 from this particular B cell. Meaning that dalam ni ada which type of antigen? Endo or exo? MSC class 2 for CD8 or CD4? 4, thank you. CD4 sebab dia akan very specific kepada dia punya binding sites. Right? So MSC class 2 plus dia punya peptide and also they do have any other cytokines. This is cytokines kan yang kita belajar. So it's not just the B cell to itself tetapi with the help from the any cytokines or chemokines. Okay, the cytokine is the big one atau the father or the mother, but bawah dia tu we have this the chemokines group, we have the TH1 group, we have the TH2 group, TH17 groups, or even interferon gamma group. So then, okay, when we look at here, we have the CD40 on the surface of the B cells, while on the TH2 cells, we do have CD40L in order to make sure that the peptide boleh bind. Whilst for this one, tengok the BCR is for the B cells receptor. Okay, the B cell receptor on the upper side ataupun the outside of the B cell receptor, they do have the binding sites, which we call it as epitope or paratope. E or P? Jauh alih temenung tu. E or P? The paratope on the B cells receptor. Okay, tetapi under antigen kita ada paratope ke epitope? Epitope. Okay. So then this is this is what is going on inside our body system. Okay, tengok balik how the process takes place. And then kalau kita tengok di sini bagaimana the antigen, they do have the binding sites. Okay, we have the MSC class 2 and definitely dia punya CDTH ataupun CD4 helper cell adalah CD4. For purposely, they are very meant to each other, not the CD8+. Okay, sebab dia sangat specific. So the antigen, we have the T cell receptor, so then they akan be activated, the T helper cell. Right, so followed by, di dalam ni, bila dia dah activated, so therefore the cytokine will be released roughly secara big picture-nya macam ni lah, and then which later the cytokines akan be released out to the surface ataupun to the environment, di luar daripada the body cell. Okay, itu soalan setakat ni. Okay, tengok dekat sini. Apa yang jadi? Okay, kita ada macrophages. So macrophages is part of the ataupun one example of the antigen presenting cell, right? Betul tak? The APC. Okay. So the APC, this is the phagocytosed pathogens yang dia telah pun engulf. Okay, dia engulf. So dia adalah presenting the antigen. That's why we call them ataupun the scientists name them as antigen presenting. Dia mewakilkan ataupun what they do or what they did adalah they recruit the pathogens inside. So therefore dia adalah antigen yang presentkan ke dalam body dia in order to make sure that dia akan dapatkan help daripada T helper T cells. In which later dengan adanya this particular antigen di dalam yang been engulfed oleh macrophages, right? So therefore ini adalah MSC class 2 sebab dia telah pun berada di dalam. It's not from the outside. It's not, ini adalah untuk endogenous sebab dia telah pun present dan makan dan engulf this particular pathogens compared to yang exogenous. Meaning that dia dari luar. Okay? Maksudnya dia masih lagi di dalam persekitaran tu tetapi they're not being recruited yet by this particular APCs. Faham tak? Dia akan jadi macam tadi. The BCR, they do have their paratope binding sites, what we call the paratopes, but at the same time the antigen which has the epitope punya binding sites. So therefore dia akan attach together. Alif termenung lah tu. Okay, then when we notify that it's endogenous, which already been engulfed by this particular APCs or antigen presenting cells, one of those adalah macrophages. So then this particular MSC class 2 akan react on this particular endogenous pathogens, right? Betul kan? So the MSC class 2 akan bind with that debris ataupun the particles of these particular pathogens to the surface of the macrophages in order to make sure that this particular class ataupun the MSC class 2 with the particles of the antigens inside akan dikeluarkan. This is the peptide of the antigens that already been crushed down ataupun chunk into a very small particle. So which later when this particular MSC class 2 carried away with the debris of the pathogens, so from this way, therefore they will make sure that the T helper cells nearby akan attract, okay, in order to make sure that this particular T helper cell akan been activated dan akan straight away notify ada signal saying that okay, this particular APCs need me to be activated in order to get rid of this particular peptide ataupun the antigen punya peptide yang telah pun lyse or been chunked into a very small pieces dalam macrophages iaitu one of the APC. Okay. And then at the same time here we have the T cell receptor. So therefore this particular T cell akan been activated kalau tak dia berada dalam keadaan yang naive. So from this particular macrophages, they do have the co-stimulatory ligand ataupun B17 untuk for them bagi untuk dia match, okay, in order as a bridge, in order untuk memastikan yang this particular peptides of antigen akan be get rid of, okay, with the help daripada T helper cells. So they do have co-stimulatory receptor iaitu CD28 yang akan bind with the B7 co-stimulatory ligand dari macrophages. Okay, itu adalah cerita yang berlaku. Right, so manakala untuk foreign pathogens tadi kan dalam APC, right? Betul? Okay, sebab dia dah engulf Dulu masa kita sekolah, we learn that macrophages dia akan makan. Am I right? Makan, which in terms of science or the terminology is engulf the pathogens. So then kita perasan towards the end dia akan keluarkan dia punya debris. But this is how it happened. But then when it got to about the foreign pathogen, yang akan bertindak adalah the B cell. If that particular pathogen tidak di-lyse ataupun di-engulf oleh the APC. Okay, faham? So, bila for the foreign pathogens yang melibatkan the B cells adalah where you can see that on the B cell, they do have naturally has the IgM and also the IgG on the surface of that particular B cell. Ingat tadi yang dalam kita punya this one has IgG dan juga IgM on the surface without stimulating from any antigen. Tak perlu. No need the presence of the antigen, tetapi there are readily available IgM dan also an IgG on the surface of that particular the B cell. So then, okay. So the B cells, meaning that they do have IgM and also IgD. So this is the foreign pathogens. And this one, as you can see that on the surface of the Ig ataupun the B cells, dia mempunyai the paratop dan juga the antigens. This one dia mempunyai epitope untuk dia bind kepada immunoglobulin. Okay. And definitely because it is foreign, what we name it as a foreign pathogens, okay, yang adalah pathogen yang luar. So therefore it involve the MSc class 1. Sorry, got MSc class another class 2, which later juga melibatkan the B cells. So this one adalah the co-stimulatory receptor untuk CD4T. So ada dua, iaitu foreign pathogens dan juga MSc class 2 yang akan terlibat kepada dua, iaitu yang by APCs ataupun yang directly mempunyai IgD ataupun IgM from the B cell. So again, tetapi on the T helper side adalah dia mempunyai co-stimulatory CD4T dan juga CD4TL. So definitely berbeza dengan yang APC sebentar tadi, co-stimulatory ligand B7. Okay, untuk T cytotoxic T cell destroy on targeted cells, what we can see adalah the cytotoxic T cell. Okay, what is cytotoxic T cell tadi tu adalah CD8+. Perasan tak? Kan? CD8+ tadi tu. Yang kita punya warrior. Remember? Ini. Manakala CD4 ataupun helper T cell. Ada dua nama dia. Okay. Kalau lah keluar dalam exam kan, dia tanya. Kalau. Okay. Terus Alif buka mata. Senyum-senyum dah Alif. Okay. So then we can see that this is CD4 ataupun cytotoxic T cell. Or CD8 T cells ataupun / cytotoxic T cell kan. So then dia adalah non-self complex, okay, which the cytotoxic T cells tu akan bind to infected cell. So dia akan bind. This is the infected cells. So this one adalah cytotoxic T cell, in which this particular cytotoxic cells produce ataupun release the perforin molecules. Tujuan dia adalah to make holes in infected cells, membrane, and enzyme. Okay, as you can see that this particular perforin from this cytotoxic keluarkan, so they will bind to this particular pathogens punya surfaces, which later they will make a hole, and then all the perforins akan dimasukkan ataupun being transferred into that particular pathogens punya cells. Okay, which also contain enzyme that can promote apoptosis. Okay, kematian dia lah, kematian the cells ataupun kemusnahan. Then these particular infected cells akan being destroyed. So kerja dia, cytotoxic T cells produce the perforin which that particular porphyrin akan be released out from the cytotoxic T cells, which later akan travel to the nearest pathogens that been identified earlier, making a hole and then release. So pertama, yang penting adalah dia punya the binding site to first, supaya that particular pathogens dapat dipegang in order to make sure that they are going to release the porphyrin, making a hole, and then at the same time they will release the enzyme that can finally promote the apoptosis processes. Okay, so akhirnya be destroyed. Okay, dah pecah, ruptured. Okay, so ini for this one untuk antigen processing dan presenting by MSc, tadi ada dua perkara yang berbeza ya, MSc Class 2 tu. Satu yang by the APCs, yang satu lagi adalah by the B cells. Okay, two different things. Manakala untuk this one adalah how the process takes place in the kita punya cytoplasm. Okay, they will go through the this is the kita punya GE ataupun Golgi apparatus. Manakala this is RER, reticulum endoplasmic, okay, rough endoplasmic reticulum, and then which later akan be transferred into the Golgi. Dulu kita belajar, okay, the Golgi apparatus akan menghasilkan nodule-nodule, right? Which molecule particles, which later akan be transfer ataupun travel into the surfaces of that particular cytoplasm ataupun the membrane of the cell. But inilah sebenarnya yang berlaku in order to help and maintaining the function of the cells. We don't want that particular pathogens or any other foreign get into the system. And also at the same time, we want to get rid of them as soon as possible. Okay. Currently, we heard that there are lots of flu, fever is happening around, especially from the students sekolah-sekolah kan yang dekat hostel. Again, during this particular endemic, bila we are now in the phases of the endemic, so there are lots of things can happen. That's why and also at the same time kita punya weather pun sekarang saya rasa agak sedikit panas compared to the previous week macam tu. So it's very important for you guys to make sure you look after yourself, drink lots of plain water wherever you are, and also try to cover your head as much as possible because it's quite hot actually, and this particular weather also can disrupt any function of our body system. So itu yang paling utama lah. Make sure that you stay in a very good manner dan juga in very good health lah. Sebab nanti nak exam, this week is the 14 weeks, so we are going to have the study leave for 1 week kan, and which later lepas tu followed by kita punya final exam for another 3 weeks. Macam tu. Okay, any question that you want to ask me? Hi Ram, how are you? Ram senyap je. Okay. Orang lain? Soalan? So tak ada soalan je you all. What type of format will be the test be? The test or test esok lusa? Nah, tunggu soalan. Tunggu soalan. Don't worry. Ada lagi soalan? Test bila? For cytotoxic and NK cells, dia mempunyai roughly a responsibility ataupun a role in host defense against infectious pathogens. Tetapi their responses to bacteria lah still lagi not well characterized. Okay, but they do have dia punya own responsibility in the host defense against infectious pathogen. Infectious. Mana-mana infectious pathogen. Right? Dia adalah dua benda yang berbeza ataupun dua cells yang berbeza. Doctor, can you share this recorded lecture to us? Yes, I will. Okay, yes, semalam I did share with you guys during the session with Dr. Mazila, and I hope that you can get something and then boleh share with your friends or even your family, because it's two-way communication with our medical doctor as well. So it's a very good session lah semalam. Lecture untuk semester ini, I won't see you again or you won't see me again unless yang do their final year project with me. I don't know how many of you ataupun ada yang saya punya tak ada langsung kat sini. And then the rest, kita tak jumpa lagi lah untuk sebab you are nearly towards your end of semester. Sebab saya ajar this paper untuk elective sem depan mungkin I'm going to offer this particular paper juga, tapi depends kepada how many of you yang ataupun kawan-kawan lain yang akan ambil. Okay. Semua dah okay, dah ready untuk test dan juga untuk final exam? Semua geleng kepala. Kenapa? Syazwani sedih. Kenapa Syazwani? Apa yang dah berlaku? Ram want to say something. Risau susah. Subjek siapa susah? Saya ke?